Give it up for Eitan. He'll tell you all about it.
Thank you. Please let's give it up for Omri, actually, and Microsoft. And Andrea.
And
who's
yeah,
in New York.
she's not here.
But she's in New York. And she's
She's
on
in
YouTube.
New York,
She's
right.
on-
Yeah.
So we can see you, hopefully, and see us. Good. We have 20 minutes, I know, and within that time, we're also going to be showing you a demo of our app, which is now in beta and can be downloaded on Android and iOS. You just simply need to register your email at our site, but you can download from either one of the platforms and get a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about. And so we'll get going. So my name is Eitan Chamberlin. I'm the founder of Stops and Stops.com. And I've been in the travel business for about 12 years now. I've owned my own travel company, and I've experienced the travel world from a lot of different directions. As a guide, I've actually personally guided thousands of people around Israel, Jordan, Egypt, Greece. I'm an explorer at heart. I've appeared on the Discovery Channel a few times as an archaeologist. So that's a little bit my background, and a background also deep in business. And we're going to get into that. I'll tell you a little bit more about my background, how our product's very applicable, we feel, to the travel world, but also to real estate and education. Because what Stops is an aggregator of geo-based content. We're also giving users easy tools to inject geo-based content and data in the world around them. And it becomes a very, very applicable thing, we think, for everyone. So, you know, when travel, there are bus stops, train stops, car stops, you have stopovers, and we find that this is a good brand not just for what we're going to do in travel, but every time we stop, we're engaging with content. Everything around us, and you just talked about, last week we just talked about content in context. You're going to see screens labeled with that in just a minute. And so we say that in English, stop and smell the roses. Stop, think about, and take a moment to absorb the world around you. And this is what augmented reality is, right? We're engaging with virtual objects, which we're putting in. But what about the real objects and the data we can begin to extract out of that and those things? So we started actually with our product, started off with an idea, a very simple idea. If you can face tag, why can't you just tag anything in an object, in a photo? Why can't you tag any object in a photo down to the smallest pixel? Define it and give it its own geo-position. And so from a two-dimensional photograph, why can't you get to a three-dimensional virtual space? And if you create enough of these, and you begin to aggregate them from all kinds of sources like we're doing now, like showing you the closest Wikipedia article to you, the closest Google place to you, the closest Yelp review to you, and on, you're about to see what we're doing in terms of bringing content to you. We can take you on new journeys, and it's really a new way of travel. You could travel any theme and any concept and down to any color or virtually any object or type of object in the world, just because that's the experience you want to have. And we want to give you a little sample right now of how Jerry Seinfeld is going to be using Stops very soon.
Next guest is a young comedian who's making his very first appearance on The Tonight Show. Would you welcome him, please?
Jerry Seinfeld! Are you kidding me? In the 70s, we were the new hot thing of stand-up comics doing this thing. I only had one joke that worked, which I'm going to do for you right now. So we moved out from the city to on Long Island. Long Island is not one of those places you can't get in it. You just stay on it. Would I have been funnier if I grew up in Peoria in a whorehouse raised by prostitutes? Absolutely. But this is what I had to work with. My parents, they didn't even know our names. They were ignorant. They were negligent. We grew up like wild dogs in the 60s. No helmets, no seatbelts, no restraints. Cookie crisp. It's not like cookie. It is cookie. I was either eating 100% sugar or airborne. Okay, Jim, this one's going to be coming a little bit faster now. It's like my little Dave Clark moment. Mom, Dad, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm a funny person.
For me, it was like high school without the school part. And we were the stars of the football team.
They cut a little hole for us so we can stick our head in and see what the hell is going on. Because you want your eye blinking and tearing when you're going backwards down a staircase holding a wall unit. Right.
So what did Jerry just do? What is he doing as a new Netflix show that's going on? He's taking us back in time to where he lived. And it actually, if you actually watch the full movie, he spends about a minute at this street corner here. I think it's 57th Street and, what do we say? Madison Avenue in New York City. There's Jerry sitting here, and he's telling the story about that. That is the very place where he had an epiphany to become a comedian. And so that is an amazing experience here that he's sharing with the world now. Probably millions of people passed there on Madison Avenue over the many years, never knew that a guy like Jerry SENFELD, at that very moment, at that place, had that experience. He took us into a window of his life. And so for Stops, that is a stop. That is a travel point. That is a place that people want to get to and want to find and rediscover. Next screen. Next screen. Next. Next screen. Good, we got it. And so we can inject a geoposition or what we call a pixel tag. We know there's other versions of what the word pixel tag is, but we call this a pixel tag so that you can virtually encounter that and begin to ignite content as you get there. Now just imagine for a moment, imagine if every Wikipedia article did have a geoposition. They're working pretty good at that. They don't allow you to put geoposition for people for some reason on Wikipedia, but to be able to encounter that or to be able to begin to pop or engage with that content as you go along. We call this a sort of karma. People want to go and visit this, and you're looking on popular sites in New York City now. You can jump on tours, and they're going to stop here. They're going to stop at the restaurant you hear in the Seinfeld episode. This is how we see the world and how the future of travel. It's also a sort of karma. You may, as a comedian, feel something there, some kind of engage with that point in another way. And this is what we're experimenting with the Stops. We're really talking about a geo-based cloud. The ability to put a tag and put a geoposition on everything. So if I wanted to put a Word file there, or if I wanted to put a YouTube video that only me and one specific friend could see, like a geocache, that only we could recover that within our ecosystem and have content of our own that we share, not even just publicly. Let's go on to the next screen. So we're talking about places when, and this is me guiding, this is me with a guide's badge on, and actually at Independence Hall here in Tel Aviv. And this is how typically guides are telling stories on the ground, using examples, pointing to newspaper articles, doing the best to create a factual experience and a world as people give. Now with augmented reality, we guides all around the world can begin injecting their own content, their own notes into spaces and to begin to show the visitors with using mobile devices right now and with augmented devices later. Because as we're seeing with meshing and as we're seeing with everything, all augmented reality depends on our geopositions and micro-positions within geopositions. This is what we're doing at Stops, and our goal is to become a new form of way of extracting content, more factual content. Imagine now wherever you're standing in the world with our application, you can begin to see the closest Wikipedia article to you, the closest business page from Google Places or Yelp. You can already with our app begin to feel that your business space is missing, something about your business space is missing in that presence. But we can also begin to inject more and more good quality content. So now we can begin to play how virtually we're going to see a timeline, or how are we going to virtually break down facts for you that go back to the ends of the universe. If we start in Jerusalem with thousands of years of history, how are we going to be able to tell that story? So that now if you're traveling in the States next time, you're going up the East Coast, you can type in Frank Lloyd Wright, or pick any type of theme, or even pick a year and a period of time, and now that geo-content's going to come to you from that specific period of time and that specific theme. Everybody get what I'm talking about here? All right, let's go on to the next screen. Keep the time going. So some of you might be in marketing or branding here. That's kind of my background at SEO, search engine optimization. I used to own a bookstore and learned a lot of databasing. I've been in archaeology, and I know a lot about content. That's my expertise and what I bring to the vision here of Stop. So if content is king, right? We've always said that in the world of advertising and branding. Then geo-based content is the emperor. Because now begin to think what you can do is with time and place on literally virtually every memory that's embedded in every photo that you have, or everything that you begin to create as you're moving from stop to stop. So stop reigns in context for content. Wherever you're standing, we want to be showing and adding value of real good quality content to the world around you. It's not about how much can we bring. It's actually too much to bring. There's too many good APIs that we're already embedding in our system that's bringing us and filtering good content. It's now about the tools we can, let's go to the next slide, to filter out a lot of that world. And so why travel? Travel's this massive industry. It is a 1.2 billion international travelers a year now, guys. There's 280 million employees worldwide. It's an $8.3 trillion industry. So we're not really looking for new ways to make money on our app. We have a long, long list of ways in which we can make money, but we're trying to build a world that's responsible for the thing that's come to augmented reality and how content is distributed, and even the ethical considerations that need to be taken place when injecting geo-based content at places. But you get something new. The travel world is giving us, when you have 280 million travel professionals that really don't have their own form of LinkedIn, and that are dealing with international clients moving out of borders. And that's why our application is first and foremost a geo-based messenger. Think of WhatsApp on steroids that has embedded with it all the geo-based abilities to share your location, to change your group's location, to meet your guide because you got stuck in the store behind. We had to find solutions that served our dynamic customer that's moving from stop to stop, is being fed content from stop to stop, but now also being delivered products that are relevant that he's going to need anyways, or she's going to need anyways, as she goes from stop to stop anywhere in the world. And this, for example, is just one example on Masada. Who's been to Masada? A lot of you have been to Masada. You might have gone to the storerooms here in Masada on your way to the upper palace. Maybe you just walk by, they're just empty rooms. But did you know here, and I'm injecting for you a stop like I would tell a story there, that they found, archaeologists here back in the 50s, found date palm seeds from 2,000 years ago. They put them under a microscope, realized they're totally extinct from the planet, these date palm seeds. They cracked the DNA code of them, replanted them down at the Aviv Institute, and they're now life-size trees. They believe if they can wed this to a proper female counterpart from the ancient world, that they will cure most heart diseases as we know them today. So facts and data don't just come from Google, guys, and Wikipedia, which is only 80% correct by its own admission, and comes up always on the top 5. Who's visited Wikipedia in the past month? Everybody? Past week? Maybe even today? How many would you hire a doctor that's only 80% right? That's fine. We're not going to be hard on Wikipedia. They give us great content. They feed us, right? It is a fabulous way of crowdsourcing information. But for AR, we can't have long lines of paragraphs, can we? We can't have over too much information. We also need ways to prove the probability, because you have people on the ground who are local who know the stories well, and they're also brushing up with others who know them, and they're finding out what the best probability of those facts are, and providing more evidence that isn't known on the public record. We believe we're going to be pulling out content that's never been understood or processed before or delivered to the regular person. And how are we doing on time?
We're almost ran out.
Just go ahead. Go next. So here's how we're rolling out our message, guys. It's real simple to the public. Stop, pop, drop, shop, then go to the next stop. Go to the next slide. Stop, just open our app, discover something new around you. You're going to see some screenshots here in a minute. Pop, engage with the virtual content that exists in the places and objects around you from the best aggregated sources. So filter it, save it, vote, share it, socialize with it. But again, like a WhatsApp type of ecosystem, only start with yourself. We're first and foremost about you getting content, a lot of great content, but when you create content, it's first just for you. It's only for you. If you want to share it to your friends, that's great. If you want to share it up to the rest of the world, that's great. You control the privacy, and that's why we're GDPR compliant. Everybody hear about GDPR? Big thing to talk about in terms of augmented reality, but we're GDPR compliant from the very beginning. Maybe one of the first few companies to maybe could attest that. And I think we'll actually lead the way GDPR in the way in which we're harnessing the user data throughout this process. So next screen. Now we're giving you a way to drop. So you stop, pop, engage with the stuff, drop. Now think about it. I'm standing here, we're going to display for you. You can drop and inject a file. You can drop in just one button, check in. You can add a fact, add a memory, add a YouTube video. Just put a link, paste a link in our site for YouTube video, and soon then you're going to be seeing the YouTube video floating right in the geo-based volume. So very simple tools for creating geo-based content. Next slide. And shop, of course, I mean, if we're not going to go into the 18 ways we've already discovered that we believe we can monetize off this app, but we want to first and foremost be bringing content. Content will lead people to the product, we believe, not advertisements. We're doing things a little bit different for the customer. Next slide. And so in a nutshell, we're geo-based search, we're a geo-based messenger, we're geo-based gallery, we're geo-based everything. We want to put a geo-position in everything, but also give you the full reins to completely, to manage that. And now, back at the end of your life, or maybe halfway through your life, you're going to share your stops and your memories and your photos with your children. They're going to follow in the footsteps of them, or you're going to follow in the footsteps of your favorite actor, or follow how the specific movie and follow the movie locations. We think travel is changing, and it's a whole new way of engaging with content in the world.